Welcome to a brand new episode of Johnson's Court. Today I'm super excited to be with a special guest today. You guys have all seen him before, but he's now back in here on the channel. Say what up, Dylan.
What's up, everyone?
So super awesome to have Dylan back on the pod on Johnson's Court. We're on the road this week and we're at an event, so this episode is coming out a little later. It is Friday night, but that's okay because once again, trust me guys, I do our picks beforehand, and everybody knows what they pick. So it's not like just because Thursday night football happened, you picked a winner. So nothing like that. But this season, it's only week 3 coming up, which is kind of crazy. Football's I feel like flying right now. Because it's finally here. We're having fun. But there's been so many injuries, and I just kind of want to talk about the injuries before we get into the picks. But I will tell you what we went last week. So last week, me and Nick himself both went 7-9. So the same record, and it was below 500. Last week, there were a lot of upsets. How many upsets were there, Dylan? At least what?
3 or 4 worth mentioning ones, and then a couple toss-up games.
Mm-hmm. So, week 2 didn't go the way that we thought, but it's totally okay. And then Beagle actually did pretty good. He went even 500. He went 8-8. So really awesome for him. And right now, he is leading us. We are watching the Nebraska and Illinois game at Lincoln, Nebraska, and Nebraska's up 17-10. Excuse me. So if you guys see us, going off about the game and stuff like that, it's because our attention is also on the screen. But with that being said, Dylan's going to give his picks this week, which is really cool. So there's actually going to be 4 people giving their picks this week. 1, 2, so 4. Normally it'll just be 3, but since whenever a special guest comes on, we want to make sure they feel included. We want to make sure that they're not just here for their good looks. So here we go. For week 3, game 1 was Thursday night. It was the New England Patriots, the sucky New England Patriots, coming in and playing the New York Jets. The Jets coming in with, Aaron Rodgers' first home game at MetLife Stadium. He was able to, actually play a pretty good game. Score was 24-3. The Jets won. But my pick was already the Jets going in this because the Patriots are one of the worst teams this year, and the Jets have all of, the most potential and the most expectations to succeed. So I went Jets. What did you go, Dylan?
I also went Jets, as well as most of America, I would imagine. I'm not sold on the Jets as much as other people are, but kind of in the same opinion as Riley with the Patriots. I think their head coach is off to a great start so far, but I just don't think they have the skill players yet to really compete week to week. I think the Bengals game was a fluke for sure.
100%.
But I do like that they're not throwing Drake May in there right away. I think
he did play last night.
Last couple of drives, yes.
Yeah.
I saw Tom Brady say the other day, and I totally agree with this, that there's no quarterback development anymore for young players. Players really just get thrown in there right away for the most part, and if it doesn't hit at first, they're just going from team to team. You've seen it with Darnold and other Baker Mayfield, other guys that now are having a chance to shine. But I agree with that. So I think they have some positives, but I think they're still a couple of years away from being competitive again.
I hope they're never competitive. I hate the fucking Patriots. But anyways, Nick also went to Jets, and so did Beagle. So we're all starting the week off with a win. We're all starting the week off with 1-0. We're all picking the same team. But things are going to differ, and that's what we love to see. We love to see that little clash, a little fight. So game 2 is at 1 p.m. It is the New York Giants coming in and playing the Browns. Giants had a great game versus Commanders last week. Came down to the very end. Commanders were able to squeeze it out because their Giants rookie wide receiver, how do you say his last name exactly?
Malik Neighbors.
He dropped the pass to score them a first down in order to put them in a field goal range, and it would help them win the game. So hey, you make mistakes, make them now, so you don't make them.
He had a touchdown, didn't he?
He did have a touchdown on the day. Yeah, he had 100 and some yards, so played very good. But you're a rookie. It is what it is. Mistakes happen. But they are playing the Browns, who I don't really know what to expect from the Browns right now. Obviously Nick Chubb's not playing yet. We don't know what Deshaun Watson is going to show up per game. So for me personally here, it isn't home for the Browns. The Browns should win this game, but go ahead and give me the Giants on the road. I want to see the Giants carry that momentum into week 3.
All right.
What about you?
I'm going to have to go to Browns. not just because I'm a Cowboys fan and I dislike the Giants, but I think Devin Singletary did good for them last week. I think there are some bright spots, but at the end of the day, Daniel Jones is still their quarterback, and I don't have any faith in him whatsoever. And I expect to see, with it being a home game, the typical Browns defense that's gonna
Come out.
and
Gonna show 'em.
not pop out and show them, but it's Daniel Jones at the end of the day. So I mean, Browns already have a great defense, but I expect them to do what they normally do: play a gritty game,
We'll see what
and win
happens.
by 7 to 10 points.
Could be a blowout. You never know. Nick went the Browns, and so did Beagle. So everyone went Browns here except for me. So this is where the start of differentiality starts. That was a big word. That's been a long time. Your next game at 1 o'clock. It looks like we got quite a few 1 o'clock games. You know, we got 2 Monday night games this week, which is really, really cool. But we've got the Eagles coming in and playing the Saints. The Saints are the hottest team in the NFL right now. You know, they're 2-0. Derek Carr's having him one hell of a first 2 weeks. Kamara, you know, had a great week against, Dylan's Cowboys last week. But, you know, the Eagles, you know, they're struggling. Don't know how to feel about the Eagles so far. But the Saints should win their division with the way that it's going. I mean, it's going to be a fight, you know, when they do play the Bucs because 2 great teams. But I'm going the Saints here, and, you know, I think they win by at least 10 points.
I agree. I haven't watched too much of the Eagles this year, but I know both teams have, I think, pretty solid defenses. I know Jalen Hurts is 9 of his last 11 games have been losses, as well as, again, being a Cowboys fan, I despise the Eagles. But I've really liked what I've seen from Carr this year. I think he's had a great bounce back so far if he can stay consistent, and I think Kamara will show out again this week as well. So I'm going to take the Saints, especially with it being a home game. Close game, good defensive game.
All right, so Dylan and I are going the Saints along with Nick, but Beagle is going to go the Eagles. Fun fact about Beagle, he actually used to work for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if you know that. But since he lives in Pennsylvania, when he lived in the city, he worked for the Eagles, which is really cool.
One more thing I also want to add is last week Nick Sirianni did not dress the team after the loss in the locker room, and they're all professionals at the end of the day, but you got to have some sort of leadership coming from your coach.
Accountability.
And
What are we doing?
that just shows that it's a mess right now. Plus, you don't know if A.J. Brown's going to be playing this week or not.
He's not playing. He's already ruled out.
All right. Well, then I think the Saints defense, our offense comes back down to life a little bit, but I still think it's enough to get the W.
Get the dub. We eating out here. Your next 1 o'clock game is Houston Texans versus the Minnesota Vikings. Both of these teams are actually playing pretty well so far. I'm pretty sure they are both 2-0. You know, the Minnesota Vikings are playing very well with Sam Darnold. You know, I said at the beginning of the season that Sam Darnold's going to play pretty good. Dylan did not. I remember having this conversation with Dylan. He is not hype on Sam Darnold, but that's totally okay.
I like the guy.
Because, you know, you want to prove, people wrong. You know, we want to see what really happens. Now, I think this will be a great game. I think this will, really be a test for both teams. You know, week 3, 2 good teams carrying that momentum, seeing what's going to happen. Seeing that this is at home for the Vikings, I'm going to give me Vikings. And I think they win by 3.
I like that. This is 2 teams other than red zone clips throughout the day. I haven't seen a whole lot of. I know the Texans picked up some guys on defense this year, as well as having a pretty explosive offense. Vikings, I can't speak at all on their defense right now. I don't know if it's average, above average, below average, but I want to go Vikings. I do, because there's something about the Vikings at home that seems to be making it a tough place to play, but I think the Texans' offense has another big week, and it's able to outpower. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be within 6.
Within 6. All right. Well, we'd love to see that. So, Dylan's going the Texans. Beagle's going the Texans, but Nick is rocking with me with the Vikings. So, 2-2 here. We are split down the middle. I'd love to see that. Dylan, I'm going to go ahead and give you this 1 o'clock game. Let everybody know who's playing right here.
All right, at 1 o'clock we have the Broncos at the Buccaneers. I really like what I've seen from the Buccaneers this year. I've watched both their games. I think Mike Evans looks exactly like he does the past 10 years. Mayfield seemed to really step into that leadership role. And Yeah, we're in Columbus, so it makes sense. But the Broncos, there's not really much good to talk about there from running game, passing game. I know their defense is pretty decent. But the Buccaneers, I mean, between him and Godwin and Baker playing confident, I see it tough to beat the Buccaneers. And they're one of the dark horse teams early to make a sneaky run to the championship potentially.
That's very true. And I'm going to go the Bucks as well. I'm a big Baker Mayfield man, as you saw from my demonstration there. But I also like the Broncos too. I am high on Bo Nix. I do hope he has a great career. I think he played, decent at Auburn, played pretty good his last year at Oregon. We'll see what happens there. Just like all the rookies, this is not college anymore. Welcome to the real league. Ready to get hit, smacked, tossed around, because that's what happens when you're in the NFL. Can your offensive line protect you? It's a whole nother ball game. So, personally, Baker Mayfield, he knows what he's doing. He's got all the Buccaneers clicking. So I'm going Bucks here as well. Nick is going the Bucks, and so is Beagle. So we all agree on this pick right here. Next, our 1:00 game is the Green Bay Packers versus the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans have got off to a horrible start. Will Levis is not the answer potentially right now for the Tennessee Titans. When do you move on? When do you make that Bryce Young and Andy Dalton switch? Who knows? We'll see what happens. But, Green Bay Packers, they're coming in. And, Jordan Love could be playing this week. I don't think he will be, but he could be. We'll see what happens.
Shouldn't be.
Absolutely agree, shouldn't be. But, this is the old Tennessee Titans QB who is coming back for a revenge game. So how does that play out? How does that play down? I think the Green Bay Packers win this one on the road. I know the Titans have nothing to lose, but I see the Packers taking this on the road.
Same here. I think whether Love plays or not, I mean, the Titans, it's been a trilogy so far of one massive bad play from Will Levis the last 2 weeks, so we'll see if that continues on this week. But I think, like I said, regardless of who's playing quarterback, I think if Josh Jacobs gets 25 carries and a touchdown, I think they win easy. They don't have any great receivers, but they have 2 or 3 really solid receivers that have a lot of speed, and if they can hold on to the ball, which has been an issue for them the last couple of years, I think they can take this in a double-digit victory potentially. Willis didn't look too terrible, if I remember correctly.
Not too terrible versus the Colts. He really didn't.
They relied a lot on Jacobs. I know he had like 125-ish yards.
And didn't score a tutty, yep.
Didn't score a tutty. But I think regardless, as long as he manages the game good and doesn't try to make too many wild plays, I think they win.
On the Packers. All right, so it looks like I'm going the Packers, Dylan is, Nick is, and so is Beagle. So we all are going the Packers here, so we all agree on that pick. But then our next 1 o'clock game is potentially could be game of the week because these teams are... The Bears are 0-2. They got to win, didn't they?
No, they're 0-2.
Okay, they're 0-2. And so are the Indianapolis Colts. Both these teams are showing their asses right now with the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. But it's okay because, like I said, this is the NFL, not college. So Caleb Williams, you're going to have to, prove yourself here. But then with the Indianapolis Colts, what the fuck are we doing? Anthony Richardson, just the whole team in general just needs to pick up their marbles, forget about the last 2 games, and start the season now. And just move on, and whatever happens to our season happens. But you got to get the win. You are at home. You're playing the Bears. They've got a good defense, but I think the Colts do win this one. And I think this is probably, a 3-point game. Because if the Colts lose, they lose because they beat themselves. But going Colts here at Lucas Oil Stadium.
I agree. I'm going to take the Colts here as well. I was really high on Richardson coming into the draft, and I think he would have been a perfect fit for the Colts, and they were lucky enough to get him. When we were at dinner, it was announced that Keenan Allen, I believe, is out for this week's game. So
with the same ankle injury?
Same ankle injury, shocker.
Hey, ankles are nothing to play with, boy.
He's kind of the leader and the veteran of the DJ Moore and who's the other receiver? DJ Moore and Roma Duze. So I think without him being out there on the field, I think they struggle. Cole Kmet's good for 1 or 2 really big receiving yard games a year, it seems like the last couple of years. I think the Bears' defense keeps it close, but I think Richardson's too elusive and you can't predict what he's going to do. So I like the Colts taking this one.
The Colts taking this one. All right. I go Colts. We all go Colts, but Beagle, because Beagle is a Bears fan, so it does make sense. And Nick's a Colts fan, as you guys know. So I understand why we disagreed there. And then our last 1 o'clock game of this week is the Chargers coming in and playing the Steelers. You know, the Chargers are playing really, really well. The Steelers are playing really well, actually, to start off. Which team starts off 3-0? Is it the Steelers at home, or is it the Chargers and Justin Herbert and J.K. Dobbins? I think it's the Chargers. I think this is going to be a really good game, actually. I think this will probably be a game of the week for the 1 o'clock games. You know, like I said, it's going to be good. You know, I do feel like this is, if I'm a bet man and whatever the under is, I'm taking the under because that's what I think is going to happen here. But give me the Chargers on the road, and not an easy place to win either, but I do think they do get this dub.
So everything Riley said, same for me. Steelers obviously have a great defense. They've showcased that multiple years, and as well as this year, really, really well.
So who are we going here?
So we're going with the Chargers. Their Steelers defense is great, but I think the rookie out of Notre Dame, Joe Alt, I mean, between Clowney and Crosby in his first 2 weeks made them look like backups.
Like chumps.
That's what's up. As long as Herbert can make smart decisions, middle of the field and down the field, Harbaugh seems to have that place having a new energy for the better. So I'd like to see that continue on. Hopefully, I've said this every year. I've been high on the Chargers the last couple of years, so hopefully they don't make me look like fools again this time. But I think it'll be a great game. Definitely the best game on the 1 o'clock slate.
All right, so I went Chargers. Dylan did. Nick did, and then Beagle went the Steelers. So we differ with Beagle again. He went 8-8 last week, so I don't know. Does he know something that we don't?
It's either going to be first or last.
Does he know the script? Somebody knows. And then we play at 4:05. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we got 5 4 o'clock games. So great slate this week of games. I'm excited the way that they have their schedule. Well, you first start out with the Dolphins and then Seahawks. Tua's placed on the pup for the next 4 weeks. Their backups coming in. He ain't looking that good. And you're playing at the Seahawks, the 12th man. Give me a Seahawks win. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, without Tua, I mean, you don't know how the offense is going to look every week. Metcalf's look pretty good. I know Kenneth Walker's out. But Carbonet, I think, if that's how you pronounce his name, has scored in each of the last 2 weeks.
Ooh.
Of course, he's sitting on my bench for both weeks, but I think it's going to be the Seahawks. Geno Smith runs a good offense. He doesn't try to do too many wild plays, so if he stays within himself, I think the Seahawks should.
You know why? Because he don't write back. He don't write back.
He hasn't so far.
Then you got the trash Carolina Panthers, who are moving on to Andy Dalton. You know, let's see what the Panthers can do and turn around there. Playing the Raiders. I think this game's going to be, I would say kind of close because I'm not high on the Raiders, but I think the Raiders should pull this one out. It is at home for them. The Raiders were able to beat the Ravens last week, come back and win. So can they carry that momentum at home, playing the worst team in the league? I think so. Give me the Raiders.
Panthers have an underrated defense, but, I mean, it's the Panthers at the end of the day. Gardner Minshew has shocked people so far. What's Zay Jones? Who's the running back? Is that his name?
Somebody, because they had Josh Jacobs, and then
Or Zay Jones is the receiver, but Zay or Jones?
It's a rookie running back, I believe.
Yeah.
So.
I like him, what I've seen so far. Max Crosby's great. But you can't win a game. I mean, Adam Thielen's entering his wide receiver 3 tier, I would say. And you can't win with a guy like that. Nothing against him.
No.
As your best receiver, best playmaker on the field. So I'm going to go Raiders.
So the Carolina Panthers are just a sleepy team. So that's why you caught me yawning there. But then 425, you got an NFC West showdown. You've got the San Francisco 49ers coming in and rocking in the LA Rams Stadium. Both these teams are a little bit injured. You know, Christian McCaffrey obviously is in the pub for the next 2 weeks or whatever. You know, Debo's out for the next 2 or 3 weeks. George Kittle's a little banged up. Did he step out of bounds? He did not. Stayed in bounds, right on. And then on the Rams side of the ball, you know, Puka's injured. You know, just probably a few other players are injured as well. But, you know, that's a main player that is injured on their team. But, you know, do the 49ers find a way to win with all these things? I don't think so. I think the Rams win at home. Give me Matthew Stafford.
I really like Stafford. I've loved him for years. I think, is Cup and Puka out?
Oh, yeah, Cup's out too. You're right.
I
didn't say that. I forgot. See, I told you somebody else.
Kyron Williams is going to have to play like he did most of last year. I think just to stay in the game. 49ers defense is still pretty healthy. Purdy's handled himself pretty good in close regular season games. I know Stafford is leading current quarterbacks in fourth quarter comebacks under 2 minutes or whatever it is.
There you go.
I expect it to be a close game like it always is between these two teams, but I think the 49ers are going to find a way to pull it out like they have a lot in the last couple of years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're going 49ers here. So just for that last pick, we all went Raiders. And then for this pick, everyone's going 49ers but me. So I'm the lone wolf here. I know something they don't. And then at 425, you got the Detroit Lions coming in and playing the Cardinals. I'm going to get a drink of water, but tell us about the Lions and tell us what the Cardinals have been able to do so far.
So the Lions obviously have a lot of expectations this year. One of probably them and the 49ers, two best teams to make it to the championship from the NFC side.
Mm-hmm.
I love Gibbs. I love Montgomery. I love the way that they balance each other out. Two total opposite players. I know guys like Laporta have had a slow start. St. Brown kind of came alive last week. They've really been utilizing Jamison Williams. And I'm going to go to the Lions. I really want to go to Cardinals, though. They're one of the teams I've heard a lot of people say, and I totally agree with this, a super fun offense to watch between Kyler Murray. A lot of people have written him off. I'm still really high on him. I think he's a top 10 quarterback easily when fully healthy. He hasn't really had the weapons that a lot of the other guys have had. Marvin Harrison has really come alive. Trey McBride, who we mentioned. James Conner has shown some flashes.
Yep.
I would not be surprised, especially with this being a home game, coming off a tough loss for the Lions. I would not be surprised if the Cardinals win, but...
Are you taking the over in this game? You taking the over? Because Cardinals have been putting up some, a lot of points.
Hold on, I got to see what the line is. You give your vote.
Me personally, I'm taking the Cardinals here. Just because, like you said, it's a fun, good team that I didn't expect from them. But like you said, Kyle Murray's healthy. He's a top 10 quarterback. You've got Marvin Harrison Jr., who balled out last week with 2 touchdowns, over 100-some yards. Like, he knows what he's doing. And then with the Lions, it just kind of depends on what's going to happen with them. Like you said, they are the favorite. They do have a lot of expectations. They do have the most pressure on them this season. But go ahead and give me the Cards. But this will be a high-scoring game, I think.
Absolutely. Over is 51.5, which is the highest over-under by 3 or 4 points for this week. I would not be shocked if the Cardinals win. I really want to choose them. But if the Lions are going to be that team that can make it to the Super Bowl this year, you can't have back-to-back losses.
That's very true. Cannot have back-to-back losses. Then our last 425 game. Dylan, I will let you have the floor.
Oh, boy. So we got Ravens at Cowboys. Ravens started off the year so far 0-2. They're a lot better than that record shows, obviously. They're still working some stuff out at the tight end position. Who's going to be that new number one? It seems like it hasn't really been Mark Andrews. He's just been an extra left tackle who's left me a few points on my fantasy team. Cowboys, obviously, try to vote with no bias here. But truthfully, Cowboys seem to be in these good, close games in the regular season, the total opposite of what they are in the playoffs. They always seem to pull out these tough early games of the season. So I'm going to go the Cowboys. It's going to be a tough one, but I think the Cowboys are, if they're going to win this, they're going to have to get at least a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter or late third quarter. That's typically how these games go for them, and then they leave the door open and leave it up for grabs at the end. But I'm going to go Cowboys.
Your defense, the Cowboys defense has to play defense all 4 quarters.
Yeah.
You can't think about playing for 3 quarters. You can't not play it first quarter, but play it second, third, and fourth quarter. You got to play all 4 quarters if the Cowboys want to win, because the Ravens always do have a chance to come back. The Ravens also have a chance to blow the lead as well. They blew like a 10, I think, plus lead last week versus
The Raiders.
the Raiders. So, it does happen.
That was
Like
a
I
bad
said, you
loss.
got to play defense, all 4 quarters. That's going to go for both teams here. But, Lamar Jackson, if he wants to get over that hump and he wants to beat Patty Mahomes, he needs to, beat the big name teams during the regular season. So, me personally here, I'm going to go Cowboys. It is at home for the Cowboys. I do think they get their swagger back. And they do beat the Ravens. So that means the Ravens will start 0-3, but that doesn't mean they still can't make the playoffs. They're just going to have a very hard journey if that does happen.
I think it depends a lot on how much Lamar throws the ball as well. Cowboys are not a good zone team. I don't think Lamar is very good throwing in the zone, though, however, if memory serves. So it's just who can beat their weakness.
Who can beat their weakness? Who can
it'll
explore
come down
it?
to that. If Lamar runs it 15, 20
Patty?
times, as
Patty
well
Jr.?
as Derrick Henry, I think the Cowboys front is going to win that battle. You got a couple young guys in the backfield, though, so if he can be precise with his throws,
So,
maybe the Ravens get the
let's
W.
see here. I went Cowboys, Dylan with the Cowboys. Beagle's going the Ravens, but Nick is going the Cowboys. So, all right. Beagle's and Lone Wolf here again.
He's either going to win by a lot or
his record's going to be different.
Very bottom of the total pool.
But then we get to Sunday. We get to Sunday Night Football, guys. And it starts at 8:20, normally 8:30. You guys all know. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I really hope you ever didn't smack. Anyways, it's the Chiefs versus the Atlanta Falcons. The Chiefs, have been playing the way that Chiefs do during the regular season. But the Falcons last week beat the Philadelphia Eagles, came back late in the fourth quarter, and just Kirk Cousins, maybe his streak is over. Maybe he can play in prime time. I don't know. Can he keep that up? Can he go 2-0? Let's roll the dice and let's fucking do it. Going with Kirk Cousins and Atlanta Falcons here. Give me the Falcons, baby.
Give me the Chiefs.
Boo.
I like what the Falcons have on paper. It always seems like they have the better offense than most teams are going to go up against. Outside of Kirk, most of them seem to be relatively young, and you can't necessarily rely on them each week. And I think for a team like the Chiefs that have been here for years now, dominated, all those young guys are going to have to be clicking on the same day, which is not something we've seen a lot from the Falcons or, per se, Kirk Cousins. So I like what the Falcons have, but I'm going to go Chiefs.
It's going to go Chiefs.
Mahomes on prime time is tough to beat. He's tough to beat regardless, but prime time he just shines. Swifties will be out.
Swifties will be out.
I'm not a Swiftie.
So I am. But anyways, everyone here is going the Chiefs, but I'm going the Falcons. So I'm the Lone Ranger here. We were watching Patty Mahomes Jr. out here just freaking ball it out for Nebraska. So that's really cool. But then Monday night, we have 2 games, dude. We have 2 games on Monday night. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But I think these will be good enough matchups that is okay for what we have going on Monday night. Our first one at 7:30 is the Jacksonville Jaguars coming in and playing the Buffalo Bills. Jaguars, I just feel like they've got a lot of questions. Is Trevor Lawrence that franchise QB that everyone says that he should be from Clemson? Can the Bills win without Stephon Diggs? So far they can. Can they continue that trend? You're at home. Give me the Bills with a strong D, good O, they're clicking, and the Jaguars just have a lot of question marks for me. So give me the Bills.
I am also going to go the Bills. Very hard place to play. I still think Trevor Lawrence has some time, but starting 0-3. Has he made the playoffs? He's made it one time, right?
Trevor?
Yeah, he's played in one game, correct?
They did make the playoffs because they beat the Colts. What was it? 2 years ago, maybe.
Oh, well then they.
Because yeah,
they came back and beat big upset against the Chargers 2 years ago. Remember in the wild card?
Yeah.
So,
they did.
I guess he's been there twice, unless that was in the same season. But
no,
I'm pretty sure it was twice.
Maybe.
I don't know, man. Trevor's obviously you got to build around him.
That's true.
You've invested a lot in him, but even with making it 2 years, it was a pretty weak division those 2 years.
That's true.
I still give it a couple years. You have to, based off the name and the talent. But I'm not a huge Trevor Lawrence guy. I think he'll make the plays to keep it close. I don't know if he has what it takes to put you over the top like he did in college. But I'm gonna go the Bills.
Does he have what it takes? The world may never know. We'll find out this Monday night, 7:30. But then at 8:15, when that game is about going to halftime, the next and final game starts for Week 3, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Washington Commanders, a.k.a. the Redskins, coming and playing the Cincinnati Bengals. Commanders have been playing pretty well with Jaden Daniels. He's actually, doing pretty well for the first 2 weeks. Cincinnati Bengals look like absolute shit. Dog shit. I'm a Bengals fan. You guys know that. I have high expectations for him. We've started 0-2 the last 2 or 3 seasons. But I think you turn around here at home. I think this will be a good game, though. It's on Monday night. This is the first primetime game for Jaden Daniels. So let's see how the Commanders, work it, see what they can do. But give me Joey. Give me the Bengals. And I think this game is decided between 6 to 8 points.
Yeah, this will be a fun second game to have for a Monday night game early on in the season. We got two great college, same college actually, LSU quarterbacks.
Oh, that is true.
Battling each other here. I really like what Jaden Daniels has been able to do with not a whole lot, even though he hasn't thrown for a touchdown yet. Obviously, he's not going to be able, according to history, be able to always make the plays with his feet if they expect to win games. And I know ownership has already told him that he needs to cut down on that. I'm going to go the Bengals here. I really like Joe Burrow, but he's done this 2 or 3 years now, as well as stretches throughout the regular season. And I think he's a great quarterback, but I think people need to start holding him more accountable.
100%.
I think people ride too much on the high of that one Super Bowl he took them to, and I think guys like Allen, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, these guys get a lot of heat when Joe Burrow has exhibited the same things and gets away with it every time. So I love Joe Burrow. I think he's a great quarterback, but I think he needs to
be held on the same standard as all
the
the
same
quarterbacks.
standard, and he needs to step up as well as Jamar Chase. He needs to let his play do the talking. But yeah, if this one doesn't go the Bengals' way, Burrow might want to think about getting rid of that blonde hair.
I mean, he might think about it. He's not the real Slim Shady, is he? But that's it, guys. That is week 3 of our picks. So this will be really fun. We do have some disagreements here. So that means, it's going to go some ways for other people. It could go different ways for other people. Of course, obviously, like our favorite picks, for example, let's see here. Like the Buccaneers beating the Broncos. Say the Broncos win somehow, we all pick Buccaneers. So that's how in the loss column for all of us. But then it's those different separate games that it's like, okay, like how good will your record be even though we all lost certain games? You know what I mean? So that's what's like really cool, when it comes down to it at the end of the day. But this is week 3 of the NFL season. And we will see you guys all on week 4.